Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is TMI, and we will be taking a look at the Edo State House of Assembly crisis 2 days to what you call the hostile takeover. That is what many people are like calling it. Don't forget the case also of Bauchi, where 13 persons were sworn in and the clerk present, while 17 under the maze also have their own house. 2 speakers, parlor speakers, but after negotiations and consultation, they were able to bring them together. And they are now one. Is that what is going to happen in Edo State? Or is going to be world war rather than jaw? With me here in the studio, I have legal practitioners and of course activists in the studio. I want to start my introduction by introducing Barrister Patrick Awo Osaigi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate your comment.
Thanks for having me. Hello, beautiful.
Sitting very close to him is Barrister Patrick Isekwenu. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
A vibrant youth political analyst, Stanley Osaze. Welcome.
Thank you very much and good morning.
And of course, my extreme left, Barrister Robinson Imade. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Wilson. Good morning, viewer.
I want to start off from you, Barrister Robinson Imade, with what is really going on in Edo State House of Assembly. 1 week ultimatum was given to the House to do, so to speak, or to write, or to re-inaugurate. Let me use those terms. The House give another proclamation letter so that peace will reign in the House and of course the state. 2 days more and counting. What do you think will be the fallout of this?
Well, it's obvious, and everybody should agree and expect that there will be no takeover of the Edo State House of Assembly. Tempers are high now. People are waiting. Others are expecting. At the end of the day, I'm sure there will be an amicable solution to this problem. Talking about ultimatum giving, who gave the ultimatum and why? Talking about instructions given as to do another proclamation, who gave the ultimatum or the instruction and how? In the first instance, it is constitutional that when a house is to be inaugurated, a governor gives proclamation letter. And as far as the Edo State House of Assembly is concerned, the proclamation letter has been given. There is no place in our constitution that says that a proclamation letter be issued twice. One is already given, and they are saying that the letter was not properly written. If it's not properly written, who is to determine that? Will it be the president who is today giving instructions, go and write another proclamation? Does it lie in his mouth to do? Is it part of his constitutional duties to ensure that proclamation letters are given? Of course, the answers to these questions are no. Assuming it is correct that the proclamation letter was badly written or written in bad faith, the only organ of government that can so speak and do and demand that a new proclamation letter be given is the court of law. And of course, this matter is before competent courts of jurisdictions. So until and unless the court annuls the inauguration that was done, no other person, not even the president, not the National Assembly, can say, do another letter of proclamation. That is as far as the instruction is concerned. But as far as the ultimatum is concerned, you look at the Constitution, it empowers the National Assembly to take over any House of Assembly that has problems sitting, where there's crisis as a result of war, crisis whether internally or externally that will make the House of Assembly not able to sit, crisis that will ensure that nothing can be done about the state as far as the legislative arm of government is concerned. But in this case, after the inauguration, you recall that 9 of them were inaugurated, and that means the provisions of the Constitution that says that a quorum must be a third of those elected. In Edo State House of Assembly, you have 24 members, and 9 went for inauguration. As far as I'm concerned, that met the constitutional requirements.
All right.
And after the let me just learn. And after the inauguration, we are talking about go do it again. Let's look at who does what in that inauguration. The governor is expected to give a proclamation he has given. The clerk of the house is the one who is supposed to invite people and ensure the inauguration is done. He said he did. 9 people came. It met the constitutional requirement, and he went ahead with the inauguration. So what is this Balu about?
All right.
As far as I'm concerned, there will be no takeover. The house is sitting. There is no crisis that is making them unable to sit, and that's where it ends.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Barrister Imade. Stan, I believe you have so much to say about this. We have 2 days to go, according to the ultimatum given.
The truth of the matter is we should not use sentiment to discourse on this issue. We all know how the crisis started within the purview of the State House of Assembly. And it was a fact that 19 members addressed the World Press Conference calling on the governor to issue a letter of proclamation. The same day that the said letter of proclamation was issued by the governor. You know, when there are lacunas in law, you make use of existing precedents. The truth of the matter is, under a normal situation, it is supposed to be emphatically announced to all members of the hallowed chambers that your inauguration will be day this, day that. And it's supposed to be a celebration where members of their family, constituencies, and all will be available to look at their representative getting into power. But in this case, was the inauguration geared towards the interest of Edo people? No. It was purely a political fight where a situation, which we now have a situation where some group of persons wants to save their political head, others want to lord over the others. But let's separate the hallowed chambers from the interest of an individual. The truth of the matter is Section 105 of the Constitution vests the impetus on the person elected as governor to issue a letter of proclamation. Immediately, the expiration of the previous House of Assembly was, as we speak, that very time there was a great discrepancy between the time that is expected and the time that the letter was issued. And at the end of the day, when it was issued, you are supposed to communicate with all members. Did these members have access to this information? No. Now let's talk about this, the National Assembly intervention. When the House of Representatives said they want to take over the State House of Assembly if the governor fails to issue a letter of proclamation, some of us vehemently disagree with them because the House of Representatives have no power whatsoever to do that. The Constitution, according to Section 11, subsection 4 of the Constitution, mandates the National Assembly and not the House of Representatives. Now that there is a unanimous agreement between the Senate and the House of Representatives, I think even the judiciary or no organs of government, including the presidency, have power to load other organs or arms of government, as the case may be. So in this case, it is very, very expedient for the needful to be done. Now, there are some group of persons who believe that sentiment, friendliness, relationship, and favoritism can be the other. Some persons are trying to say, we are fighting Godfather, status quo must remain. No! What is the provision of Section 91 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? It states, and I quote, for there to be House of Assembly, you must have at least 24 members. So I'm not exceeding 40 members, as the case may be. The truth of the matter is, if you have to look in that area, or you vest your own view in that particular area of the Constitution, you will agree to the fact that what we are having in the House of Assembly is purely legal. Some group of persons will say Section 11, subsection 5 of the Constitution say where the House of Assembly can be able to perform business. That is to say, status quo should remain. But the truth of the matter is, are we really performing business in our State House of Assembly when we are not using security agency and everything to protect our members from sitting? The truth of the matter is this. Let us do the right thing and let peace prevail. And again, you said something about the Bauchi crisis. The truth is, you cannot liken the two. There was a series of negotiation discussion. Why have we refused to adopt EDHA? Some group of persons are saying I'm bigger than they, I cannot agree. This is purely egotism. The truth of the matter is, let the right thing be done.
All right, those State House of Assembly crisis, 2 days to NASS take over. Some people call it hostile takeover. 2 days and the clock is still ticking. Barrister Patrick Isekwenu, you've heard both of them giving their own submission. How do you feel about all this?
We
without settlement, I think there are some section of the Constitution which I will cite, which will be a guiding principle. But nothing to argue about because the law is clear. Now, let us go to Chapter 11 of our 1999 Constitution, which is our instant law, our ground law. There, we talk about fundamental objective. Here, I look at the issue of fundamental obligation. Chapter 11, now Section 13. It is clear. That is the basis for government. It said the fundamental obligation of government is what I call it. Fundamental is a very solemn chapter that all acts of government must adhere to. That's Section 13. You must adhere to it. Whether the lawmaker, whether the executive, whether the judiciary. He said all the hands of the government shall. It is mandatory. It's a fundamental obligation. Must comply with this section of the Constitution. That's what it states. You must comply. In carrying on the business of the day, whether you are in judiciary, you are in legislative arm, it's your guiding principle. Now, it is clear that it is strike law. I will not look at who is right, who is wrong, whether is wrong or not. Yes, proclamation will be done by the governor, as I said in Section 105, Section 3. He has done that. Now, whatever arises from that, issue of interpretation of the law, it's not for the legislative arm of government. And it's entirely for the judiciary. That's why Section 13 you must adhere to it. They are in charge, nobody else. So now, whatever you agree on, whether it was done in the night, it was done in the day, there are 2 persons or 3 persons, it's not the duty of the governor. He has done what he had to do. It's not there for you to go to court. That is why these 2 parties, they went to court. Nobody else that have power over this matter. Nobody. Let us deceive ourselves. Now the 2 persons, now they have 2 cases. The other party went to court, the other party went to court. They submit themselves to court. And when you submit yourself to court, your life is supposed to maintain. Nobody goes there. That's the position. And I'm aware that there are some injunctions here and here, even the National Assembly. Also restraining even the security agencies. So now, what is the National Assembly to do? As a responsible arm of government, you are in the status quo. You cannot go in any longer. Constitution already there. That's why I said, go to Section 13 for the matter objective. You must adhere. Now, the judge doesn't have any longer. See, the matter is in court. For you to go beyond that, even when you are restrained, show more to it. And again, I see a case of contempt. Even the matter is going to prison now. They're going to go to prison. They don't know.
National Assembly goes to prison.
Court. They've been restrained, and you are asked not to. You better say court until the court finishes. And whatever action you carry on now, when the court is in the matter, is null and void. It is nullity. Yes. I don't know where they're heading to. And that is why I expected them. I'm supported about this report, about the National Assembly, the one we have now. I'm supported because take a leave. What we call precedent. The last National Assembly, when the CJ was suspended, the same thing year, they were on vacation. They have to recall. They have to go back. I'm doing a precedent now. They have to come back immediately to Abuja. When they are meeting, no, don't get into it. But at the end of the day, when they come out, the matter is already before court. Then that's what you can do. Let the court decide. And there is more lawmaker, they withdrew. Let the court decide. Now the same thing here now, like just in this matter, it's already with the court. Then what is the National Assembly? When you have been restrained, a matter is before court. So the secretary of the National Assembly, them going to prison. Because once a court gives a zoning order, let me tell you, once the zoning order is given, it's banned all persons, all personality, including witches and wizards. Nobody is exempted. Oh my God. That is just the position. Calm down.
Barrister Patrick, watch your emotions. Yes, no. Watch your emotions because you're getting emotional right now.
For the matter, go and read it. Principle. You must obey. So you have to stay clear. You have no business. For now, look at him as a busybody. He want to go to prison. I tell him not to go to prison because you will suffer. That will be elected to National Assembly member.
All right. I'll come back to you, Barrister Patrick. Please.
So that's my own opinion.
Watch your.
No, it is there. I just said that it's there.
Like what? I don't Calm down. Like what we used to say here is entirely their own opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV. We do our best possible to make sure that we follow the rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Now let me come to you, Barrister Patrick Awo Osaige.
Thank you, Winston.
Yeah.
My take on this is obvious, and I will always see things from the legal angle, and regardless of the political undertone, in as much as we all know as stakeholders and folks in the states, we know that there may have been some trouble, in paradise, and issues are beginning to unfold. you know, and this is what is happening. But the true position is this. You cannot, you know, try to exact what is not there. Now, you don't have the right. You can't give what you don't have. You know, that is what the National Assembly is trying to do, to give what they don't have. You don't have the power to come down and take over, you know, like you have said, because there is no provision for that. You know, where you have the set power to do that, it was clearly stated. When the House can no longer sit, when they cannot carry out legislative duties, that is the only ground. And now in section 11, sub 4 and 5 said, if they can't carry on their business, they have been going on with business, whether they are there with armed security men or not. So long they are sitting and they are holding on, carrying on their business, you can't say business is not going on. Now, all they have said, he said the governor, section 105, sub 3 have said that they should, at the expiration of the House, the governor will issue a proclamation letter so as to enable the clerk communicate them and set for inauguration, which was done. Well, you say, well, they didn't, it was not well announced, and somebody said on print media, though I didn't say that in the Constitution, or wherever, how you go to talk to them. But the point we are making is that a proclamation letter has been issued by the governor, and the clerk have already read to the House, and then the inauguration have taken place, and they have even, you know, elected some principal officers like the Speaker and all. These are issues that are, and they have already started the business for the day. Now, you are saying they should issue now, for instance, let's agree that the governor says, okay, I'm wrong, okay, I've done this right, I didn't do well, I just want to reissue another proclamation. Where did they get that from? The Constitution did not say there should be room for another proclamation letter. In other words, the governor have said that he has done something wrong. I did it in bad faith. That's why I'm coming up to do another one. So that is also an impeachable offense, which would be a good ground to impeach the governor. So how will you expect the governor to issue? So you are telling him to, you know, go, just do it, and then we get you off the office. That's basically how I'm looking at it. Now you are saying you are coming from Abuja, you're giving them ultimatum. How dare you? What effrontery, what audacity? Who gave you such powers? It's not in our Constitution. That lies solely in the purview of the court. And the court have restrained DSS, restrained National Assembly, restrained all of them. And you still say you are coming. Then come and get imprisoned. Just like my brother said, that is the only way. You may say, well, it cannot be because we are politicians. Oh, just try yourself and see what will happen. Because if we cannot respect the Constitution, which is the ground of our existence, then we don't have any basis for doing anything. Why will you call yourself honorable members and then you call yourself a senator, you call yourself, and you cannot even look at this, this simple interpretation, you cannot even look at it clearly. You are saying we have decided. You cannot give what you don't have. They are trying to give to the Edo people what they don't have. They don't have the power to do that. If you dare it, then you meet the repercussion. Obviously, it's contempt of court, and that is what the law says. It doesn't work that way. If you have your political disagreement with your, you know, folks divided amongst yourself, you call yourself together, harmonize things, and get busy again. You are one party. I remember there was a celebration in town that is 24/24. That's an excellent result. So we should celebrate our victory and manage our ego and all of this stuff. I honestly believe it's something they can do in-house, other than coming to the public, washing dirty linens outside. That is, constitutionally, the governor is carried. You cannot take that from him. He has issued his proclamation letter. Okay, now the clerk said, yes, I've read. You said, well, he did not say. I had my brother saying, Washington, Steve was saying that I was not, you know, or that we are trying, you know, it was not, they did not go out to probably, you know, that they were supposed to bring their family members, which is okay. But there's no position there in the Constitution that you must come with your family members or children. Maybe we're called to bar now. They say, come, they gave you 2 forms. Yes. Invite your dignitary. The invitation, that when you are coming, but then is it compulsory that they should come? No, I didn't go with anybody. I went in there myself, and I was called to bar. And nobody has said you cannot be because you didn't come with your family members. So that is not part of it. We shouldn't play on sentiments. We should look at the law and the Constitution. If you have your political differences, you can solve it underneath. Leave Constitution out of it. Okay. But for what they are doing now, it becomes content.
All right. Now, well, we're not so clear if he said it's because they didn't invite his family members. Let's be clear.
Let come to decide that.
We have seen before. We just now he never said that. So that everybody will be clear. Let me come to you now. In the case of Edo State and of course Bauchi State, before what stands, they said they cannot be likened to each other, that they are different. Barrister Robinson, almost the same thing happened in Bauchi State. You get to see 13 being sworn in the presence of the clerk, while 17 also under the mace. They were sworn in, but were able to harmonize their house. As we're talking right now, they are one. Is the situation not alike in these circumstances?
Truly, the situation is exactly the same, except that the politics of Bauchi State is slightly different from the politics we are witnessing here. In the first instance, let me quickly say that the Constitution is supreme, it's a ground norm, and that every aspect, every letter of every word of every section of the Constitution ought to be respected. Having said that, in Bauchi State, because we do not have the political dilemma that is existent here, over there, they were able to sort things out. And like I said earlier, the only way to solving the problem here is to also sort it out politically. If you go to court, I don't see how those who are coming to invade the National Assembly, those who are coming to take it over, will succeed. It is the culture of impunity that has become prevalent in the country that we are seeing at play just now. Otherwise, I know that there are three, a fourth one just came in, court injunctions against what is happening. And let nobody deceive himself. The State House of Assembly is carrying out legislative business perfectly. There has been no time that in Edo State or anywhere, at least in the southern part of Nigeria, that any House of Assembly members would just go in there, carry out their functions without security presence. It's always there. Even as individuals, they go with security people. So that there is heavy security today is the security arm of government doing its job. After all, the police is not under the Edo State government. It's a federal police that we have. The legislative functions of the House of Assembly is going on. The governor has performed his role. I don't know who told us that the people were not invited. The Constitution didn't say you must publish this in the dailies or in the mass media. The clerk said they were all invited. They told us that many of them had not concluded their papers. They are not clear from the relevant authorities. And so they are expected to come back and be inaugurated. I'm talking about the fact that 19 people went to address press conference. As who? As what?
Elected pen.
As far as I'm concerned, that was a misplaced priority, even if it was a priority. Because at the point they were addressing that press conference, there were no members of the House yet. Obviously. They were only members elect. Until and unless you get inaugurated, you take the relevant oaths, you are not an honorable member.
Absolutely.
There is a big difference, a huge gap between an honorable member and an honorable member elect. The inauguration makes a difference, and it is key. So that kind of rascality of going to address the press, 19 of, okay, were they doing that as members of the House?
Watch your language now, because they may take a sentence to that word rascality.
I'm asking, were they doing that as members of the House? Were they doing that as people were collectively elected? Can I remember that every constituency elected its own representative? Under what platform did they come together to now address the press conference? And what was the issue? Calling on the governor to perform his role? Did that lie in their mouth to do? Is it part of the functions of honorable members elect to call on governor to carry out his duty? If the governor had not carried out his duty in due time, again, it is the court that will say.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Whatever is at play just now, nobody has a right outside the judiciary to carry out the threat that we are seeing, whether the presidency or the president, whether the National Assembly, the legislative arm of government, they have no right. The situation in Bauchi State was taken and settled because people there are more civilized.
Hold on now.
With due respect, they are more civilized. Otherwise, what is the difference between what happened in Bauchi and here? The different people as canvassing is that that one was widely publicized.
All right.
It was publicized. Why did they not go?
Good question.
It was not publicized. Why did 9 people go?
Hold on now.
As far as I'm concerned, the governor has played his part. He would not. If I were Kiye, and today you say a governor is issued on that proclamation, I'll take the governor to court.
Okay.
But I'll be duly elected.
I'll come back to you. Now, he raised many points drawing comparison between the Bauchi situation and, of course, Edo State situation. He used the word civilized. civility. Is that what is lacking right now in the case of Edo State?
In the case of Edo State and Bauchi State, it might be synonymous in terms of action, but it is different in terms of approach. The truth of the matter is we have what we call alternative dispute resolution. They are lawyers that was adopted in addressing the crisis rocking Bauchi State. But what is the case of Edo? Here, our political bigwig, different political camps are fighting against each other at the detriment of the collective interest of the people. And if you look at Bauchi State politics, you have different, in fact, the House of Assembly is somehow heterogeneous in nature, where you have different political parties having a representative in the Halo chamber. So, but here in Edo State, we have 24 members APC. 24 members of the
But the same situation.
Excuse me. Now, are they not supposed to address this crisis within themselves?
Absolutely.
The truth of the matter is, some group of persons are exercising absolute power against others. That is one. First, let us understand what is really prevailing within the purview of Edo politics. We will agree to the fact that when those members organized a world press conference to tell the world what is happening, what was happening, the time that they addressed that press conference was about 4 p.m. at NUJ, Nigerian Press Center. Press Center, yes, NUJ. But that same day, by 9:30, in fact, in the morning, we started seeing pictures of inauguration where somebody puts on short knicker while some wore beetroot slippers. Although there is no constitutional provision of how you dress, but you look at precedent. Excuse me, sir. Then somebody wore beetroot slippers. Let us speak the truth where necessary, because in the situation where we now hide under injunction to continue to perpetuate what is wrong in our society, it becomes an aberration. Now, again, what is the position of the Supreme Court when it comes to the issue of nocturnal hour? Outside working hour, are you organizing a witchcraft meeting?
Yes.
Are you creating inauguration for witches and wizards? Are people not supposed to be aware of what is happening? Why are they televising inaugurations? For Nigerians and other people to be aware. But the situation that we're having right now is not synonymous with what is supposed to be experienced in a contemporary society. Now, let's go back again to the power of the National Assembly. I am of the opinion that no organs or arm of government have the power whatsoever to lord against others. Now look at the constitutional provision, section 11, subsection 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I would like to take pleasure to read. It says, at any time when any house of assembly of a state is unable to perform its function by reason of the situation prevailing in that state, the National Assembly may make such law for the peace, order, and good government of the state. Let me cut it there, because I will not want to spend all time in reading. The truth of the matter, this is the constitutional provision that vested the impetus and the temerity whatsoever on the National Assembly, not the House of Reps, not the House of Senate, because we have a bicameral legislature, on the National Assembly. And you are telling us that there is no crisis in Edo when some group of persons are running to the National Assembly to lay their petitions, to say, look at what is happening in our state. Ipso facto that I have presented, it is very, very obvious that the crisis that is going on in the Edo State of Assembly is being found by some group of persons who wants to benefit immensely and that wants to distract the good governing process of the APC. Get it clearly. This is not to say that the governor is not doing his job in terms of physical development. This is purely outside development. This is all about the interest of the people and operating within the ambit of the law and morality. How can somebody wear short knicker and beetroot slipper and tell me that I signed inauguration?
All right, I'll come back to you, Stan. This is getting more and more heated up. We have 2 days to NASS take over. Some call it hostile takeover. Now, according to the Constitution, which he read some part of it, he talked about a crisis situation. And is there no crisis right now, politically speaking, in the state? For some people to go to Abuja to start complaining, laying petition, you get to hear statements here and there. Is that not the crisis situation?
Thank you, Wisi. You see, like if you listen to my comment, what I said at the beginning, I said, see, it is there. I can never advise National Assembly to go on illegality. Again, I will send them to jail, to prison. I will not, as a lawyer. I will not. Because the judiciary is before this matter. This matter is before judiciary. That is what I'm talking about. Whether it's in night, it's done, it's day, it's quorum, this issue should be before court. Court is to decide it. Nobody. So the way it is now, it's only court that are looking into it. Not a marriage. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not my point. It's subjudice. Can't even talk about You don't even the implication of court matter. Following before court.
But at least there are still court issues in Bauchi State, and this one was done. They have to, like, they came together.
You can imagine.
No, these are, you can settle, these are behind the scene. It's your case. I heard it. But now, if they say they've settled today, they must
go back to court.
Go back to court. That's what they are doing. It's done quietly. Settlement within behind the scene. What I'm trying to say is that the way it is now, nobody can upturn it. You see, no more debt, no habit. You cannot give out what you don't have. I have perused through the constitution carefully. I have never seen anywhere but to empower the governor to reissue proclamation twice. It's an aberration. And the government cannot go on illegality. Nobody. So the issue is that what I advise him to do is that even the constitution read, that's the thing that makes it, oh, take over, here and here. The constitution is not even make it automatic. Read it there. It says may. Read there. It doesn't say shall. Even if it's at war, it's not compulsory you act. Read it there. It's not compulsory. But the section 13 which I read to him, you can read it there what you get read now. The section 13 which I said fundamental objective principle, it says you shall. You must abide. There's no educational power. So the truth is that since the matter is
you are not celebrating Petrus Slippers inauguration.
So this matter is in court.
No, hold on, stand. Don't interject.
Yeah,
Calm down.
Shouting. Yeah. That since the matter is in court, all I just advise is that I will not expect any lawmaker to go to prison. Because they are representing different constituencies. Whether you are in Senate, whether you are in House of Rep, they came from a particular constituency. That's what the matter. So, and again, if I look at that, I advise them not to go on illegality. Everybody should just act according to the Constitution. Because if you watch, if you go to Section 14 of the Constitution, let me tell you, it is clear. By Section 14 makes it mandatory that Nigeria, and it said Nigeria shall be a state run by principle of democracy and the social justice. Then Section 2, there, on Section 14, you go there, go through it. Also made this clear, listen to me, also made it clear that power belongs to the people. Nobody greater than the power. Power belongs to the people, in which is, the people are even stronger than the government, more powerful than the government. Absolutely. Power belongs to the people, in which the constitution we have now, and the government draws power from. It is, don't go and read it. So the people are sacred, the power belongs to them, which the constitution draws power from, even the government. So those National Assembly, those House of Assembly elect should go for inauguration, go and do that now for the sake of their people, who they are representing.
All right.
That's what I advise them based on that session, because the people are greater. Because they are not being represented now, the way it is. So don't any good. And matter is in court, nothing they can do. So the best thing to do is go and regularize.
Okay. Now, you people keep saying the matter is in court. And one or two people may be like, because you guys are legal practitioners, you are speaking out of sentiment, drawing a case also from the Bauchi situation. The same matter was in court.
Can I
sure.
Thank you very much.
And they're able to resolve this.
Thank you, Winston. We've had matters in courts. The court, you go to court with your applications, you go to court with your petitions, you go to court. Court won't force you from your house. Come and drop your application or petitions here, or come and file process. Court will not do that. But the moment you get to court, it's not the duty of the court to adjudicate, to look into it intently and look at what should be done. But along the line, you find out that, oh, this thing is taking so long, or we can resolve our cases, we are brothers, maybe property inheritance issue. Instead of us fighting, brother, please come, let's sit down. And then we'll go back to court and say, court, we want to stand down this, or rather, we want to a long adjournment, so that we can see if we could resolve the matter. The court will say, that's fine, because it's what the court also wants, that you should be at peace. And then say, go, okay, we take 3 months, 2 months, adjournment. And then we go back and say, Brother Patrick, I see, that land I took from you before, I would release it back to you. You give me small money. And they will say, we agree. And then we go back to court. I have agreed with my brother. So it will not be, that is what we are saying. So what played out in Bauchi is similar. It's just like that. It's not as if they say, to hell with court, we can go ahead and no. You're already in court. You have to inform the court.
Absolutely wrong.
Look at what we are. And then when you have resolved all of that, then you come back to court and withdraw what you have brought before court. So that is it. We are not actually trying to say, not say because we are lawyers, we're just talking that way. No. Right. We are Nigerians first. We are Nigerians. We are part of the system. We want good governance. We want, peace in our state. But we will not support what is not lawful. We are not against. I'm not partisan in any way. I'm not of any of the political party. I don't belong to any. But the point we are making is this: a governor have issued proclamation letter. I agree that the governor may have been high-handed, so to speak, from the way they have been talking. oh, he has not been giving us listening ears. I've heard that over and again. He doesn't talk to us. Maybe they will now go to the big daddy in Abuja. Say big daddy, the younger or the present daddy now is not taking care of us the way. And the big daddy say, okay, don't worry, I will come home to talk about it. And then I'm talking of the national leader of the APC. And then he comes back home, and then the governor say, well, what I have done, and all of that. I'm just talking off now. This is something I'm beginning to think. If that is the case, it is not trying to bring constitutional sentiment. If you try to do that, you won't get it right. That is the point. Because the path at which the governor has taken his toiling now is on his right. And the constitution will back him up. So the only way to resolve political differences of this magnitude, there are political issues that you can use, you can use, what do you call it? You can use constitution to quash. Okay. You can use constitution to shut down some persons. We have precedent in these states now. We know very well. Hold on. We have precedent in these states. And we have, when we have the house sitting in the government house and the other one there, and we have things like that. Inauguration? All right, but that's hold on. I'm trying to make a point. I'm only drawing inference from what happened at initial. We have seen all of this before. Hold on, let me just land.
Okay, hold on, gentlemen, hold on. You are going to land, but before you land, we're going to take a break. All right, we're going to take a break to introduce another speaker to have a divergent view in this same topic. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
TMI, every opinion counts.
It's all about what is happening in the house, but we have two topics to really talk about. It's like this topic is taking over because we have just 2 days to the deadline given by the National Assembly. Some call it hostile takeover. What they're saying is constitution, because there is a crisis already. Just joining us right now in the studio, though he's been around watching, monitoring, is a labor devotee, Money Mike Modesty Itwa. Money Mike, welcome to the show.
Listen, good morning.
I believe you've been listening.
Very interesting.
All right, Money Mike, how do you feel about all these? You've heard the legal practitioners talking from their own point of view, and of course you had also political analysts also talking from his own point of view. It's like, even amongst discussants, it's heated up. Yeah. Talk less of what is really happening, that they're politically speaking. The House coming to Edo State NASS, 2 days, and the clock is ticking.
Well, thank you for this diamond opportunity you have given to me. Since the race started, I've really not made any side commentary or public commentary on it.
Yes.
It has become so inevitable now that you have given me the platform to speak. Judging by what I've been watching since I came in, the gentlemen here, they seem to be even more terrible than the political gladiators. My dear brother who is close to me tend to be speaking from the moral perspective without necessarily looking at the legal angle to it. Yeah. For me, the governor of Edo State has nothing hanging on him at all. He has done his proclamation, he has done it. That is what is required by law. And his proclamation was even dated some days backward before the inauguration of the President Assembly. So nobody would say it was that same day of inauguration he sent his proclamation. If it even happened, it was that same day of inauguration. What is important is that a proclamation letter had already been issued by His Excellency, the Governor of Edo State. Let us not forget that morally, from Stanley's perspective, there is an undertone to all the issues from both sides of the divide. But we also have to look at where we are coming from. The political gladiators, let's talk about the national chairman of APC, so to speak, the governor and his group, as well as the two House of Assembly groups. They have their own share of the whole problems. Nobody wants to sit down and allow somebody somewhere to control him, whereas such persons didn't allow themselves to be controlled by anybody. So the bone of contention, as far as all these issues are concerned, is the race for 2020. Somebody wants somebody to be thrown away, and somebody is saying, at least I have cut my own teeth. I should be able to bite and bite very well. That is just it. The drama you're also seeing happening from the National Assembly, the National Assembly is trying to drink Panadol for a headache that is not its own. That is my own taking on it.
And what about the Constitution?
The National Assembly constitutionally has even overreached its bound, like what they are saying there. One would have expected them to find political solution to this problem, not to start beating their chest. They do not have such powers. The House of Assembly in Edo State is very, very functional. The House is not closed. All processes are ongoing. And to even worsen the whole thing, the two parties, those who are in Abuja and those who are sitting right now, are in court. So why not let the court decide on what should be? It's expected that even in our traditional perspective, when two people quarrel, it's either you go to the ordinary way or you go to a nogi to settle. Is that not so? And when you go traditionally, you must allow them to adjudicate on the issues. Now, the judiciary is an arm of government that is expected to look into quarrels. And the judiciary has issued injunctions here and there, restraining the IG, restraining the DSS, restraining the National Assembly, restraining all those people that need to be restrained. And yet, the National Assembly is headstrong. I'm not sure they will come. I think they won't. Except they want to cause anarchy.
We are not sure they will come because time is ticking.
Hold on. Let me tell you one thing. Nigeria is not yet a banana republic, although they are trying to make it look like a banana republic. Edo State is not Lagos State. If Bauchi could resolve their issues politically, why are we not able to resolve here? Because there are persons who wants to ensure that it is what they say that must be. That era is gone and gone for good. Forever. The people of Edo State will not sit, fold their hands akimbo, and allow anybody or group of persons to come and take over the collective patrimony and powers that belong to the people and usurp it. The era is gone, and it's gone for good. And if there is anybody who is hallucinating, thinking that he or she has the capacity and propensity to dwarf the effort and capacity of our people, that person should better go and think otherwise before the hands of the gods will come on him.
Hands of the gods.
Yeah, seriously, the gods will come. And let me also tell you, you see the beauty that is happening in Bauchi. Why can't we replicate it here? As Edo State is a legendary state when it comes to setting good examples. I cannot imagine a house where you have 24/24. Then, no PDP, no ABGA, nothing. We are having this quagmire.
Thank you.
Why? Politics should be give and take. What I expected of the national leader, my old comrade, Adam Soshamole, who I respect so much to have done, would have been, whether it is the voice of Esau, the hand of Jacob, he ought to have come down home to even call from Renat Ojara to say, please join me to resolve this matter. It becomes a 50-50 thing. And nobody goes happy. Allegations have been made against the governor that he has been so tight-fisted, financially and otherwise. Is he not going to work within the limit of his available resources? But that is not to say those who have worked, who have supported the party, should not, in quotes, benefit. When I say benefit, not illegally.
Okay.
Not illegally. Okay. That's why I said, in quotes, not illegally. Be reminded that when he came into office, recession set in. And we should be able to give him a lot of kudos for being able to manage the resources of this state during the period of recession. On the 15th of November 2016, the governor did mention, and he told all his party men and women, that the era of lunch in government house was over. Until there are persons who are able to assemble themselves to tell the people of Edo State that there is a monkey swallowing money in government house. We will not be budged by whatever activity anybody is putting up together to thwart the effort of 2020. And APC should better be won as a political party. That it is not written in diamond that anybody who is aspiring to any position in Edo State must contest under the umbrella of the APC. And we are ready. If Mr. Governor is ready to run next year, we will buy him nomination.
All right. We are not here to campaign. We are not here to campaign.
I'm not campaigning.
We are not here to campaign. Anyway, right now the issue is still on the ground. Some people like saying that why can't Edo State just be like Bauchi State, shit the sword, bring their house together and work? From your own analysis, before calling it a wrap on this segment, we have talked about the 10 years of Boko Haram in Nigeria and all that. Do you see an end to this situation? Mind you, 2 days, time is ticking. I
started by saying that there will be no takeover of Edo State House of Assembly, and I stand by that. Takeover for what? Having said that, I have no reason whatsoever. There should be no reason whatsoever why there will be no political settlement of this issue. Because all that we are seeing is beyond the constitution, is beyond legality, is all political. And politics, like somebody said yesterday, must take a bow when it comes to, when the judiciary comes on board. I didn't want to mention any name. If Adams Oshomole, as leader, national chairman for that matter of the APC, wants to have his state set on fire, the APC in his state, he could go ahead. But for me, there's nothing stopping political solution to this problem. That has to be done to save the face of the National Assembly by tomorrow. Tonight, tomorrow. Otherwise, the National Assembly will be ridiculed. They'll be trying to ridicule themselves. I don't want to ascribe to that. But let us look at the issue on ground here. On the final note, we are saying that there was no, the proclamation was given, everybody agrees to that, but it was not publicized. Fine. Nobody says it must be publicized the way we want it. Some of us are also saying that it ought to be a celebration, the inauguration. We invite families and all the others. I don't know where that is coming from. And again, you say some went in shorts and bedroom slippers. In the early 80s to 90s, there was a formidable figure in this state, Dr. Iyoweweka. Dr. Iyoweweka was almost a permanent face in the many faces of religion that was anchored by Reverend Father Waifo. And his dress, whether it was in the president, the Oba of Benin, anybody coming to your studio, was bedroom slippers and a white on white. That was what he was known for. The man told me that he attended 5 universities abroad and taught in 7. He was in the University of Benin. He was begged to come home. But he lost his wife and went back. So I don't see what is wrong with bedroom slippers if anybody chooses to wear that.
All right.
They're talking about shorts. In the Second Republic, in the Bende State House of Assembly, there was an Honorable Koro who was always going T-shirt and jeans to the house. And he was challenged. He was 19, one of the youngest we've had. And he told them that, look, if you feel too old to be here, you go to your ancestral home to lord it over here. The business of the house is dynamic.
All right.
So if anybody wants to wear shorts
or
he wants to wear bedroom slippers, it is not against the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But having said so, I think that the APC owes it a duty to itself to settle this matter before the 2 days that is remaining. Otherwise, the National Assembly will be brought to public ridicule. And there's nothing they can do as far as taking over the House Assembly in Edo State, because the matter is in court.
All right.
If they do that, they'll be doing it at their legal peril.
Okay, thank you so much for your conclusion, Stan.
First and foremost, let me talk politically. I overheard some person saying, Edo people will do this. Who is fighting this battle? Is it not Edo people? The national chairman that you are talking about is the national chairman of APC. He has the right whatsoever to discuss in any APC state for as long as the interest of APC is being attacked, as the case may be. So let us separate the national chairman from this. When we say that I want to talk politically now, there are silent majority of persons that have not spoken ever since. But they are waiting. Let us not begin to mention names of political gladiators or individuals that are on the streets. Now, he cited example of some persons can wear in bedroom slippers. You're surprised to the fact that after that inauguration, some people came out on live media to say that we were forced to. Some said that I was kidnapped on the road to. Did they put AK-47 in the heads of those persons for them to come and tell Edo people this? So the truth, decorum, please. So the truth of the matter is very simple. What I see here is just like a calculated attempt to gang up against some persons. Then the truth, let the truth prevail. Whether you like it or not, if you look at the number of persons that have not been inaugurated right now, it's more or less as if you have removed more than 2 senatorial districts from the hallowed chambers. And now, if you look at section 91 of the Constitution, I would like to read. I quote, it said, subject to the provision of the Constitution, a House of Assembly of a state shall consist of 3 or 4 times the number of seats which the state has in the House of Representatives, divided
divided in a way to reflect as far as possible nearly equal population, provided that a House of Assembly of the state shall consist of not less than 24 and not more than 40 members. And if you, according to him in the past, he said that those House of Assembly, those members elected have no right whatsoever to address the World Press Conference because they are nobody. If they are nobody, according to what you said, how come they didn't say they are nobody? They are not honorable. If they are not honorable, why are you now outdated to be part of the assembly to have 24? That is to tell you that the night that you have there is illegal because this action is contrary to the provision of the Constitution. So what I'm saying in a nutshell, now, from the political perspective, this war is just a war between politicians. Remove the national chairman from it. And I want to tell you, do you know how many series of meetings that have been organized in secret outside the media space? But there are some persons that are on the longer end. They have refused to shift down. That's why we subscribe to him in the area where he said we should adopt an alternative to resolution. But sir, if you are saying that Edo people are waiting, be very, very careful. Look at it critically because majority of Edo people are still watching. You will not understand the situation, not until you are part of the political process. Thank you.
Well,
Wow.
okay.
Okay.
But we are going to Boko Haram discussion. If you give them the same opportunity to react, I will speak again.
They have to react.
No, they have been reacting. If you look at the number of times, they are reacting.
The current place. The current place. The current place.
listen.
Okay, fine. You know what? Before we continue with the Boko Haram,
Let's
or
round up- let's round up this
conclusion,
session.
we want to go for a break. When we return, wrap up this section and talk about the 10 years of Boko Haram activities in Nigeria and, of course, the journey thus far. The military, they are doing their best possible, but is it enough? We'll be right back.
TMI, every opinion counts.
With me here right now is the 1999 Constitution, and due to the crisis ravaging some states, we talk about politics, is being consulted, and many pundits have been given their own interpretation of this same Constitution. 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended with Fundamental Rights Enforcement Procedure Rules 2009. This same Constitution. Gentlemen, you've been quoting from the Constitution, interpreting it your own ways, legally, politically, morally, but the Constitution still remains the Constitution. We're with you, Money Mike, for you to give your closers in what is really going on in the Edo State House of Assembly. 2 days and counting, the clock is ticking. Do you see NASS taking over? Your last line on this.
Well, I don't want to start countering what my brother has said. Let me just give my last line as far as the issue is concerned.
Yeah.
My last line will go like this. It's a family matter. The family members should go and resolve their issues the family way. They should invite our renowned traditional rulers to join them to resolve the issues. We are not ready for any fight. We are not ready for any commotion, either at the King Square, at the House of Assembly, or anywhere. We are not ready to have 5 members impeach anybody. We are not ready to have the House of Assembly roof removed. We are not ready to have 9 members pass the state budget, as we used to have them to be. Now, all of them are members of APC. If they cannot settle, they should hand themselves over to our traditional rulers to join them to settle the matter, so that Edo will be at peace. I want to also inform you, my friends, many of those who have not been inaugurated, many of them are my very close friends. They are representing constituencies. Their constituents will not be happy having them perpetually out. If we have to throw the road of law as far as the court is concerned, I tell you, in the next 1 year, people may still be at home without inauguration. Let's find a family resolution to this matter, so that all of us will have peace in Edo.
All right, thank you so much, Money Mike. We talk about traditional rulers. Even our revered monarch went to Abuja to appeal to Mr. President to come help him settle what is really happening at home. Patrick Awosage, a legal practitioner, what's your last line on this discourse?
Thank you very much, Winston. My last line on this, it's not far-fetched, like I've often said. It should be a family resolution, like my brother has just said, in as much as legally we know, there's no way you can do otherwise. The law is the law, and it's binding on everybody. But I honestly believe they can look inward and shed grants and amend their ways and turn around and forgive and let go. You know, some persons, these are bottled up acrimonies that have lasted for so long. You know, I remember my brother talking, Tony Kabaka, here some time ago, and saying that, okay, when time comes, when they said themselves they don't want to give us job, it was on the air. I saw it, and that was touching though, and said like folks that have worked together, they don't have job. He's not talking of himself. He's saying, I have people, they're crying and they're pressing on me that they are not able to carry on anymore. And he's seen as a leader at that level. He needs to provide jobs. I think the governor, in his good wisdom, should also look into these areas and see how you can resolve these differences. Not everybody wants so much. Somebody just needs something I can take home every other month, and Chief Tony or Kabaka, you should give us job. And they say, well, the job is no longer with me. If there are ways we can, if we have taken it from them, we find a way to bringing them in again and see how we can settle them, not giving them money that they have been working. They were not asking for free money. There are people going around ensuring the work are being done, drains are being cleared and all of those things. So they are working. They are saying, give us jobs, create jobs for us. You may not have all the wherewithal like we are seated here now. They are people. So for you to consider those persons, I think is very important too. So they are all part of the system. There are people in the village, they don't even know anything. I know of an old woman, one Baba told us here, that she still says Ogbemudi as the governor of Bender State. In her own thinking, Bender State is still where we are. And Ogbemudi is still the governor forever. So those are kinds of persons, they don't want so much from you. And I think we should not look down on the downside. I think these are the things we should look at. Not me, not us here, but for those commoners. I think we should shield ourselves.
Thank you so much. You've heard them shit the sword. Peace is paramount. Peace is paramount. But 2 days to the ultimatum given by NASS. Is it going to be a takeover? Hostile, friendly? I don't know. 2 days. We all want is peace. Since Bauchi resolved theirs, why can't Edo State do same? Anyway, let's leave that at that. Now, 10 years on. I know you have so much to say about this Edo State. Look, no more. I just
agree with what you said though.
Oh, you don't agree with what you said?
No. Let me quickly say this. The issue at stake is not a family matter. The governor is not an APC governor. Those who have not been inaugurated were not voted for by APC people alone. It's an Edo State matter, Edo people matter. And so in resolving it, that's what I canvass. There should be a peaceful resolution, but let's nobody see it as an APC matter or the governor as an APC governor, or that the governor is under any obligation to give special preference as far as job is concerned, no matter how many, to APC people. He's the governor of Edo State. And many people who do not belong to APC voted for him. So let us not trivialize the matter by thinking that is an APC matter, it's a family matter. What family? It's not a family matter at all. It's a serious matter that is disturbing the people of Edo State. So if you look at the various constituencies, are we saying that the constituencies are made up of APC people? No, they are made up of Edo people. And so this issue should be resolved. APC should caution itself, otherwise it will miss it Waterloo in the next election. I don't belong to any political party. I'm an Edo man, and Edo people deserve the best. They deserve better than the APC is offering just now. I thought I should make that clear.
An organization is formed. An organization is formed when a group of persons comes together to achieve a goal which as an individual alone cannot be able to achieve. That is the reason you have political party. I am capable enough in terms of qualification, I can be a governor of Edo State. Everybody cannot be at the same time. That is why even the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is very, very explicit when it comes to the issue of political party. Nobody can run as an independent candidate. That is why your party will project you. It's not as if there are no other materials that can be governor. But in that case, every other party comes out with their candidate to strive to ensure that your candidate emerge as the governor of the state. Because what is permanent in politics is interest and not permanent enemies. So since you fought to ensure that your candidate emerged through the party primaries, at the end of the day you did all you could to ensure that your party emerged as a that does not mean that you relegate the interest of Edo people. No, Edo people come first. But whether you like it or not, you must allow the minority, which is the political party, to as well have their way, while the Edo people have their say, as the case may be, or have their say, while the party have their way, as the case may be, vis-a-vis. So the truth of the matter is very clear. I, for one, I played a huge role to ensure that this government comes into power. I was imprisoned. I'm telling you now.
That's true.
You are aware of this
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
As we speak till now, one of the eyes is no longer okay for me. I use glasses. I was hit at the collection center by security agencies.
What were you doing?
Because if you want to ask, I will tell you. So at the end of the day, you are not telling me that I should be thrown into the trash can of history. I'll be happy. No. But the truth of the matter is this. I will subscribe to what these two gentlemen have just said. Because if we continue to stray on this matter, we cannot reach Uhuru. So the truth of the matter is, let the party involved explore alternative dispute resolution. Let's go to the negotiation table. We have been saying that negotiation. Let us negotiate, and everybody must be ready for trade-off. You cannot go to a negotiation table and have 100% of what you are soliciting for. You must shift ground. Let's go to the negotiation table. That does not mean that we don't have millions of Edo people, including myself, that I agree. Thank you.
Wow. Now we know better.
We know better. We know better. Thank you.
Now we know better.
Now we know why.
Anyway, we just can't go into that security issue right now because this issue just ate up the time. We don't want to talk about the 10 years of insurgents and all that after the Edo State political crisis, but it's like this is present in the hearts of Edo people, as you can see here in the studio. Some people are like, going personal. We can't talk about 10 years of Boko Haram, the fight against terrorism. That will be for another day. To be for because our time is up. Our time is up. The spoken at length, gentlemen. I don't want to say your last line anymore. No, you've said it. You've exhausted it. I don't want to say repeat. No, enough. Well, countdown begins. Let's see. Is it going to be a matter of who gets what, when, and how, or is going to be a case of peaceful resolution? Will the Bauchi State scenario play out in Edo State? What and what factors will come in a way to make sure that we'll find lasting peace in the crisis rocking Edo State? Peace should be our watchword. Gentlemen, I appreciate your wonderful analysis. Thank you so much for gracing this occasion. And you, viewers out there, do the right thing. Don't go out there distorting the peace and stability in Edo State, no matter the outcome of Tuesday's ultimatum, because 2 days, the clock is ticking. See you next week Sunday on this same platform. Bye for now.